Imagine an aircraft that doesn't need a pilot, that takes off like a rocket, orbits the Earth for years, and then lands on its own, as if nothing happened. A real vehicle, not science fiction, that has already completed several missions, some lasting over 900 days, and no one knows for sure what it's doing up there. No official objective disclosed. No convincing explanation. Just silence. This aircraft exists. It's called the X-37B and it belongs to the United States Space Force. While you live your routine on Earth, this mysterious object could be spying, testing weaponry, or perhaps doing something even more daring and dangerous. Today, you will learn what's behind this top-secret project and why it could change the future of warfare and of space itself. But before understanding what the X-37B is, we need to go back in time a bit, to when the space race was anything but silent. Decades ago, humanity stopped to watch the first space race. It was a clear, declared dispute between two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. Each launch was broadcast live, each achievement was celebrated as a national victory. The world watched in fascination as rockets crossed the skies towards the moon. But that era of transparency is over. Today, the space race continues, but far from the public eye. With the growing importance of orbital dominance, space has become a new battlefield, a place where technology and power meet strategically and silently. It was in this context that, in 2019, the United States created the Space Force, a new military division dedicated exclusively to operating outside Earth's atmosphere. And with it came projects not made for the spotlight, but rather to operate in the shadows, like the mysterious spaceplane that the world barely knows. The new space race is not driven by flags planted on the moon, but by invisible surveillance systems and secret missions that are never announced. And the X-37B is the greatest example of this. Now, it's time to get to know this enigmatic machine that defies logic and silence. At first glance, the X-37B looks like a miniature version of NASA's old space shuttle. It measures about 9 meters in length, has short wings, and a robust fuselage. But unlike its predecessor, it does not carry astronauts on board. The X-37B is entirely unmanned, operated autonomously, and remotely controlled by the United States Space Force. Launched by rockets like the Falcon 9 or the Atlas V, it enters orbit and stays there for months, or even years. Then, it re-enters the atmosphere and lands precisely on runways like a regular aircraft. Simple, discreet, effective. Since its first mission in 2010, it has already completed 6 official flights, with the longest duration exceeding 900 days in continuous orbit. The curious detail? None of these missions had their objectives fully revealed. What it carries, what it observes, or what it tests remains shrouded in secrecy. The X-37B is, in practice, a phantom spaceplane. It's up there, but no one knows exactly what for. So, what, after all, is happening inside, or with, this enigmatic object? The answer lies between what we know and what we can only imagine. Officially, the X-37B has peaceful and scientific purposes. According to sporadic statements from the Space Force, it serves to test reusable technologies, evaluate the behavior of advanced materials in microgravity, and experiment with new propulsion and thermal control systems. In one mission, for example, it carried experimental solar panels to study the feasibility of generating energy in space and relaying it to Earth. But the lack of transparency raises many questions. If the objective is purely scientific, why keep everything under such secrecy? Why do its missions last so long, in high orbit, and return without any disclosure of results? From there, more serious speculations arise. Some experts believe that the X-37B is being used to spy on enemy satellites, getting close enough to capture data or interfere with their systems. Others suggest that it may be testing space weapons, such as precision lasers or kinetic projectiles, capable of destroying targets with direct impact without explosives. There are also those who believe it is an orbital laboratory for cyber attacks, using its privileged position to intercept or sabotage strategic communications from other countries. The fact is, no one outside of military circles knows exactly what it is doing. And when what is known is so limited, the space for the unknown becomes inevitable, and even dangerous. But if espionage is indeed the focus of these missions, then the next step is to understand how and why this is happening. Earth's orbit is the new arena for global surveillance, and the X-37B may be the most advanced piece in this silent game. One of the most debated hypotheses among experts is that the vehicle functions as a mobile reconnaissance platform, capable of repositioning itself to monitor other nations' satellites, something that would be practically impossible with conventional fixed-orbit satellites. Its mobility, autonomy, and longevity would make it ideal for prolonged espionage, especially in regions of strategic interest. Furthermore, there are rumors that the X-37B is capable of launching small spy satellites, which would be secretly deployed for specific missions and then self-destruct or be retrieved. Other reports suggest that it could carry electronic warfare equipment to test ways of blinding, sabotaging, or interfering with civilian and military satellites of other countries, something that would completely change the balance of power in space. Although the US denies any offensive use of the X-37B, the mere possibility of it having these functions is enough to worry adversaries such as China, Russia, and Iran. In response, these countries have accelerated their own military space programs, entering an orbital arms race without clear rules. If espionage is already underway, and if the tests are of a military nature, then what is at stake goes far beyond scientific curiosity. And it is here that we begin to perceive the real risk, the transformation of space into a new battlefield. While headlines talk of wars on Earth, an invisible battle is unfolding above us, out of sight, but full of consequences. The X-37B is just the tip of the iceberg of a new era, that of the militarization of space. Today, dozens of countries possess strategic satellites in orbit, responsible for communications, navigation, meteorology, and even national defense. A single successful attack on these systems could paralyze internet networks, GPS, and entire military operations. And that's where the real danger lies. The existence of secret vehicles like the X-37B fuels global distrust. In response, China and Russia have been developing satellites with robotic arms capable of capturing or damaging targets in orbit. India has already tested an anti-satellite weapon. And all of this without an effective international treaty regulating the military use of space. The result is a modern Cold War, where weapons are not aimed directly at cities, but at satellites, stations, and orbital systems. A war where there is no advance warning, nor reaction time. The X-37B symbolizes this new era of invisible threats, which can destabilize the world without firing a single missile. But faced with this tense scenario, one last question remains. What if all of this is just the beginning? The next chapter will take you beyond fear, to the real possibilities that this technology may represent for the future of humanity, and the price we may have to pay for them. The X-37B is still active. Each new mission is longer, more mysterious, and quieter. The technological advancements it carries may be shaping the future of warfare, surveillance, and perhaps even space colonization. But all of this is happening without the public knowing what is being developed with their money or in their name. The greatest power of this aircraft lies not only in what it can do, but in what no one can confirm it does. Whether it represents a threat, a revolution, or a shield, only time, and the backrooms of power, will tell. What is certain is that the X-37B is the symbol of a new era, an era in which space has gone from being a stage for open science to becoming a field of hidden strategies. The price of silence can be high, and perhaps one day, when the true intentions are revealed, it will be too late to react. Until then, all we can do is watch the sky, and remember that even when we see nothing, something may be watching us from above.